Hi, so the reactions that you guys had to the basket metaphor and the things that you had to say about it reminded me what beautiful, intelligent, thoughtful, fantastic human beings you are, and I really love them, and so thank you for sharing those things. Especially James, I really agree with Spencer. The things that you said and the way that you said them were wonderfully put, and I think that that video is a pretty good standalone video. The metaphor is in fact attributed to myself and my friend, and we were just talking about stuff, and the way the metaphor actually came up implies a different interpretation to the one that we've all been taking, in that it was about not putting all your emotional eggs in one basket, i.e. not putting all your hope in one place, be that in one person or one event or one possibility. And so that's sort of different to how we've been talking about it, and I only really realized that thinking about what I was going to say today, but I kind of like the way that it's become. James, you talked about whether humans are the only ones that can accept eggs, and I definitely agree with you in that they're not, but I would like to clarify before I elaborate on this, that when I talk about emotional eggs, I'm talking more about those bundles of emotion that you get inside you that you just need to get out or you're going to go insane. And when you talk about emotional investment, I think, as a commenter pointed out on your video, you're talking about something a bit different. So I'm going to refer to emotions that need to be gotten out. That's awful English. I'm sure that you all know the feeling when you just have so many emotions and so many confusing feelings and they need to be offloaded, and I think that you can offload emotional eggs into anything really. People talked about in the comments talking to their pets or talking to your friends, and for me, you probably know I offload into a journal, and I think this is good. I know that I find it really helpful to get everything out of my brain in the day, but also sometimes it's lacking, and sometimes there's just nothing that you can do except talk to an actual person. Because as Jeff said, we don't always just leave our eggs with other people, and the thing about other people is that they will try and help you work through the problem. And for some reason, Jeff, when you were talking, all I had in my head was they will help you scramble the eggs. So for lack of a better expression, other people will help you scramble the eggs, and sometimes you just need to do this to be able to look at it differently. So yes, I think that you can offload into non-human things, but I think that eventually you're going to need to offload to a human. Going back a bit, the thing about the difference between emotional eggs and creative investment eggs, I feel like neither of the strategies for dealing with them is better, but you can probably only turn your emotional eggs into creative investment eggs after you've offloaded them a bit. I don't know. Maybe. But in terms of emotional eggs, you actually, I think, need to verbalize or express the emotions and put them somewhere. Whereas creative ones, you turn an emotional egg into a painting or something. I don't feel like it works the same way, but that's probably just me making a gross judgment, and that's probably not true, actually. As I talk about it, I feel like that's not true. So my conclusion from that is you can offload emotional eggs in other ways that are non-verbal, but that investment eggs are completely, or mostly, different. Spencer, what you said about giving eggs to other people feeling less safe, I found quite poignant. I don't like to give eggs to other people. It's hard, even though I do it quite a lot, but I don't give the big ones anyway. And it goes back to what James said about trusting people and building your relationship, and maybe a friendship is built on an exchange of eggs. Mostly I just like the metaphor. But the one thing you said about it not being so comparable to an investment because generally we don't want our eggs back, I got stuck on that one. I can't figure out whether I would actually want my eggs back, or whether we want them back in a different way, or whether we're not actually giving them away but more sharing them around. Because although it feels really good to offload your emotions, I feel like you don't want to just get rid of them. Like, we've had this discussion before, you don't want to get rid of all your feelings, but I think offloading them makes them less intense and more easy to handle. I don't know if you can see there's a fly. I don't know why there's a fly. It's January. I'm not sure whether I actually came up with anything new out of that, but it's a challenging thought. So as with Spencer, I don't really have any conclusion, but I do have a stomach that needs to be filled, so I will get back to you on that, and Jeff, I'll see you tomorrow.